Hey, I got some new lighting. You can tell. My son hates my YouTube channel. So, of course, he's a Gen Z and he has some opinions. So, improvements. Um, I had the funniest thought today. And so I wanted to share that. I realized there are no rules to menopause. There are no rules. This is crazy. You would think we have this all down. Half the population is impacted by menopause, and 80% of us are suffering. It's a very high percentage. So, as I was talking to a client today, I realized, oh my gosh, there are no rules. This is scary. It has to be scary for you. Um, I've been doing it for 14 years and I've kind of felt my way through. And that really is my recommendation is you got to feel your way through this. The advantage to coaching is that you get information. It's kind of tailored to you. YouTube is not actually tailored to you. I'm trying to take real life examples of what people have told me they want to know about and put it up on YouTube, do the research, put it up on YouTube so that you have somebody who's talking about this openly, a user. It's really important that I'm just an informed user. I don't have a medical degree. I think that's really important because I have sampled all the different doctor types and I've sampled all the different products. So I want to let you know a little bit about why it's hard because there are no rules. It makes it really hard to compare your HRT experience and your menopause experience to someone else. It's really hard to communicate about all the factors that are involved. So I wanted to run through why it's hard to compare um, or compare notes with another woman. It's just so difficult. Um, the other thing is it's so hard to do the research yourself. And so if you feel the need to offload and come to me, I will simplify everything, kind of funnel it down, merge it with your experience, because that's the most critical thing. I want you to leverage your strengths and find your way through this maze without rules, right? It's a maze without rules. It's not fair. And so I'm so sorry you're doing this right now. I'd like to say things are getting clearer and there's getting some rules, but I'm not seeing any. I'm still using multiple different doctor types and I'm seeing the rules change constantly. But the other thing is that we're all in an echo chamber anymore. The artificial intelligence is out there and it knows everything about what we bought and what we are looking for and what we're searching for and all of these different, like there's breadcrumbs out there that's taking your life experience online and turning it into an advertising situation. So you're getting advertised to constantly. And so you're only going to hear like little segments of information. So I'm trying to get it all together for you. Um, and then when we coach, we just focus down on what's really hot for you right now, that hot issue, and then talk through a whole bunch of options about how to get through that one issue. And that's a learning that actually you just take that and you leverage it on to the next thing because a lot of the strategies and things are common to all the different issues that you're going to have. So first, I want to talk about products a little bit and the variety of products. Most of you probably know that there are different types of doctors. So within the conventional world, you've got a conventional OBGYN, and then you've got endocrinology and reproductive specialists and all different types of people over here on insurance. And then you have this entire world that lives outside of insurance who claims to be safer, claims to be better. Um, and really, heard some of that sales pitch, and it's kind of scary, actually. They're scaring you. Sometimes they can be really compassionate and more compassionate than the conventional, but sometimes it can be a scare tactic, and it doesn't make us comfortable. We feel like we're being sold, right? So right now I'm using both a conventional OBGYN under insurance, getting my annual exam there and getting products there. And then I'm also using what's called a boutique OBGYN. So she's an MD, she's an OBGYN, but they do a lot of Botox and other types of beauty treatments, as well as the hormone replacement therapy. So over here, I'm getting compounded guidance on compounded products. And over here, I'm getting the FDA approved, standardized, high quality products that most of us will end up over here. Actually, there is research showing that only at the very beginning, about 35 or 40% of us are overusing the compounded products. But by the time you're in your 70s and 80s and you still need your hormones then, um, by the time you're there, only 15% are over on the compounded. Everybody has shifted over to FDA approved products, and all the menopause societies say that compounding is not the way to go. There's just a lot of variability. If you look into those pharmacies, you'll see how small the machines are. There's only 2 or 3 people in there usually um, working those systems. Somebody has a bad day, and they're just not as exact as these big, humongous suppliers that have gone through the FDA regulation process. There's just issues and errors in small, super small businesses. They're mostly independent. They do have regulation, but nobody visits them to make sure that things are going well. So let's compare a little bit of these products just so you can see. There's different ways to get estradiol, and that is the ingredient that you want. You can use a gel, right? This is a portion gel. So this is like a 1 dose. It is kind of a moderate dose. This product is called Divigel, and I've used this for years. It has a nice absorption rate, and I don't have the issues that I might have with a patch. But I've been experimenting with the patch. And so the patch comes in a box like this. And it is convenient in that you don't do a daily dosing. I do twice a week. And this particular product has an adhesive that works well with my skin, and I don't have any irritation, but that's would be unique to you, right? So that might be an issue for you. People who swim have an issue with patches, right? They're really rigorous. If you are sweating and your patch is bubbling, then it's not working. Um, and you probably have breakthrough bleeding in those situations, which is not pathology. It's not a big deal. It just means you need to get a consistent dose of estradiol. So you want to make sure that all your hot flashes are gone, and you want to make sure that all your symptoms are gone, your brain fog is gone. You know, we're working towards full recovery. But it's possible. This one comes in the highest dose is a zero point 0.1, and I checked the FDA website. That's the highest dose of all. Some people use 2 patches. Do not think that you are just limited to this. If it is not solving your problem, you go back to the doctor and you push for more. So this is one of the real reasons. This comes in a 0.025 and then in the 0.1. So this one is 4 times as much, which is why it's hard to compare with another woman. If you're not talking about doses, you're on different planets. This is not going to work. This is not a good conversation if you're not talking about dose. And you have to talk about the ingredient. If somehow they're using a different ingredient, not estradiol, then they're going to have different results. That's a different molecule, and it's going to do different things in the body. So I'm currently using testosterone from both sources. So I experimented with the compounding pharmacy. Sorry, I should put that on this side, right? So the compounding pharmacy is over here, and it took us months and months to get to the right dose. Once I joined this boutique, it took us 6 months to get my dose right, which was crazy. Compounding, they also changed the applicator, this little pump changed, and so it messed up my dose. And then it also sat in my mailbox on a very hot day, and that really worried me that I was actually getting the product right. They changed the filler so that it would work in this pump better. So that changed my dose. Um, I'm trying to think of what else. It was just such a roller coaster of crazy. But it does work. Once we got up to the 6 milligrams that I needed, it does work. Um, but it was quite the process, and it's expensive. It comes with the boutique, which costs me another $1,200 a year out of my pocket. So that's not insured. So that entire experience is wrapped up with the products. Um, then this is a man's pump for testosterone, transdermal testosterone, and it's a very big applicator, but you don't have to push this down all the way. You can push it down part way and get a woman's dose. And so this is 12.5 milligrams, so halfway down is my 6 milligrams, right? So that's kind of simple, a little bit of simple math. Plus I find this dries faster than the cream that's in the compounding. And it doesn't smell, so that my dogs aren't sniffing around trying to, it's just funny little things like this make these products not comparable. It's really hard to say to someone, I'm using compounded testosterone versus FDA approved off the shelf um, testosterone. This is also incredibly cheap. It's on with a good RX coupon, which is an app on your phone. You can get this bottle, 6 months supply, for $60. So this is like super duper cheap, works just as well. In fact, in ways it works better. And if you get this first, you won't have to play the dosing up game. You've got the bottle, so you play the dosing up game. If you get some acne, then you know you're too high, right? Or if you get muscle cramps, then you're overdosing. So then you back down. It's really, really simple. Um, then my progesterone, which many of you are going to find yourself using micronized progesterone, but there's two ways to basically get it. So the compounding way allows you to get a extended release. So this supposedly, I really don't know, um, is supposed to have better coverage to keep the endometrium from building up, because it's like pulsing for more hours than this product, which is the FDA approved Prometrium progesterone. Once again, the molecule is exactly the same on both of these. It's the filler that's different, and how it releases into the body is different. So you can see how these things add up, and it makes it really hard to talk to someone else about their menopause experience. This comes in 100 milligram, 200 milligram. Some people are on 300 and 400 milligram. So everyone's experience is different. And then there's progesterone sensitivity. So there's women who don't process it very fast, and then it's remaining in their body the next day, and they're feeling the effects of it, and it's a very poor effect. They might have bloating, they might have swelling, they might have fatigue. So it is definitely nice to take it right before bed, because it does generate some sleep effects and will clean up your sleep a little bit. All three molecules, estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone, all work on sleep. So those are all critical to get those all together. Okay, so you're starting to see how hard it is to compare to other women, because you have to tell the other person all the details of how you're doing things. So the product matters, the dose matters, the way you apply it matters. Do you get all the product on there? You may not. The provider that you use matters, as far as the ultimate quality in the product. The thickness of your skin matters, right? Because some races are thicker skinned than other races. And on top of that, your thickness of your skin is changing with the hormone changes of menopause. So things are changing on you. all the while. So something that did work suddenly is not absorbing as well, and you're feeling like symptoms again, right? So basically, this is the reason why you have to feel your way through this, and it'll make it very difficult to compare with another person. The other thing is the symptoms are kind of a mishmash of hormone-based things, but also because our hormones are low, we start to have food sensitivities, right? So our immune system isn't totally tuned up, even if we have HRT. We are not taking HRT at a high enough dose to make it look like our body is premenopausal. We're not that high. We're at 1/5 of the peak of a premenopausal woman with the top dose of HRT. So we're around 100 picograms per ml with the top dose, which is not to say that you should stop at that level. It's possible to go further, but the average for a premenopausal woman is 250 picograms per ml. So there's a deficit, right? And so our immune systems aren't working. We're becoming reactive to food. We're having a lot of intestinal issues and bloating and all types of other things. So the high dose HRT will handle a lot of the food cravings and that drive to actually add fat. There's a drive with low hormones, with low estradiol. There's a drive to add fat to your body. And some women do. They add that fat layer and that starts generating a type of estrogen. So for them, and a woman without HRT is actually, that's their only option, is to add fat. And that fat creates a form of estrogen. It's not the healthy form of estrogen. The healthy form is the HRT form. So, so you can see how there just aren't any rules. There's so many variables and so many factors. So what we do in coaching is we very much personalize it. You're giving me all this information, and I'm following a lot your intuition about what you think is going on. There is a need for other helper products. And so all of us are working to find out, well, I'm getting the HRT, but what about the other helper products? And sometimes we're getting stuff in there that's hurting us, that's blocking our HRT and disrupting the entire HRT experience. A good example is supplements. So taking supplements can have an impact on your HRT. They can be interacting, they can be blocking. There's all types of things. There's a whole bunch of reasons that we try to get our nutrients from food instead of supplements, but this is one of the big reasons. So your supplements are over here. The other big issue is medicines. So medicines, and I don't call hormones medicines, I call them hormone supplements because it's the identical hormone. And medicines, in my mind, are non-identical hormones. So they are going to have some issues and some side effects. All of them come with some kind of side effects, right? Um, but those medicines can also interact with the HRT and change the way it's functioning. Um, your liver still has to break down the HRT, and it has to be excreted from your body. If you get a buildup, you'll, especially of the estradiol, you'll notice dense breasts, and that's a danger. And we don't want the buildup. Doesn't mean you can't have a high dose of estradiol. It just means you have to eat the fiber to help process all that estrogen. So you have to become very plant focused. I would never say um, make a diet recommendation to go plant-based where you get none of the animal nutrients. Some of those nutrients in the animal are just so easy to absorb and we're having trouble. So the rules really kind of change. You might find veganism or vegetarian works for you premenopausal, and then postmenopausal, everything changes. Your entire body is just not functioning up to par. So reconsider experimenting with diet. I always consider it a part of coaching because we have to modify the way we ate. We don't have the level of hormones to let the nutrients into our body. So our bodies are acting really strange, and our bodies are sensitive to foods, right? They're interacting with the food, and um, we're getting bloating and gas and diarrhea and constipation. We're getting everything. so so that's kind of the scope of coaching, and why, as much as we need each other, we really need to talk about menopause. I want to get rid of the menopause taboo, but at the same time, I want to get everybody on the same page, that we're using different doctor types. We're probably using different product types. We're definitely using different doses. Our genetics are each individual. So we have to take all these things kind of into account, enjoy the camaraderie of other women. I think it's so critical. It's really important to us to know that we're going through this with someone else. Um, but at the same time, we're not apples and apples, right? None of us are apples and apples. We're all different. We even found, like, we only have one piece of research I've seen in all the research that I've looked at. It's crazy, that says um, the races are different in how they have menopause and how they process HRT. That is basically done a little bit by race, and that was in 2019, was the very first study that ever said, okay, we're looking at African American woman, Caucasian woman, Asian heritage woman. We're looking at all these things, and then we're going through their symptoms list, and we're finding a difference. So there is such a big difference on that. All of us can respond to HRT. It's not out of the question for any race at all. I don't mean to imply that, but there are differences, right? And we're just exploring it. Our slow government has not been funding us. So, so that's what I wanted to share today. There are no rules. There are a multitude of products. You want to head towards the best products. And if you want a personalized plan, or you feel stuck, or you want to understand the industry more, you can come to me for coaching. Just email me at jumpstartaip@gmail.com, and we can just have a quick session. Usually takes about 60 minutes for us to get on the same page and think about your next steps and think about how to customize this for you. And then I'll follow up with an email that has a lot of research. If you're interested in the research part, I do keep everything. Um, I summarize as much as I can and get it out on YouTube, but then I keep everything that's core and critical. And a lot of those research documents you can share with your doctor if you have a resistant doctor and a lot of difficulty getting the products that you want to work out. And we do all of this as an experiment. Our lives are now an experiment. We can't sit on our hands and expect the doctor world to come and take care of us. It doesn't happen. You have to go to different doctor types, and you have to experiment on things that are going to work for you. So there's a universal laws of hormones. I don't mean to put this forward and make you think that, oh, HRT might not work for me. That's not possible. Hormones are the communication molecules in the human body, and they do certain things. So yes, it will work for you. And we have to get the plate cleared, basically, to figure out and problem solve and figure out what's going to work best, right? So those are my ideas today. I thought it was so funny. There are no rules, but we're capable people, right? So we can get this done. Okay, till next time.